Hello, folks, and welcome to another stream, another race day. It is I, Washington and Nirma, commentating for today's Xbox race on the Mexico Grand Prix. Along here with me is Thermophobe, who is also a Tier 2 driver. Hello, Thermo.
Hello, Nema. Glad to be here.
And what do you think about today's race? It's on a circuit which is exciting to watch and on a platform which is going to be really fun to enjoy. What do you think?
Yes, so the Xbox League has been progressing much deeper into the tracks than the PC League. So I'm excited to see what the drivers have to offer. There is a
Uh,
close battle between the top three drivers, which we'll switch to soon. So let's see who can get the points.
While we wait for the drivers to ready up in quali, which is obviously going to be a three-stage quali, how we have in real life, followed by a 50% race. The current standings as of now on Xbox is Ace Hacks driving for AlphaTauri, leading the championship, followed by HB5A driving for Racing Point, now branded as Aston Martin, driving currently on a 27 point deficit from Ace X, followed by Catty, driving for Williams in 194 points, way behind from Ace X. In the constructors, we have AlphaTauri leading the constructor battle, but then Racing Point close behind AlphaTauri. What do you think, Thermo? Is this going to be the deciding race for Racing Point getting the jump on AlphaTauri?
Well, it could be anyone's game. I I'm yet to see the race pace of all the drivers. So yeah, I see. I think that this track can be won based off of strategy. So yeah, let's see if Racing Point can get the lead this time or their driver even. But yeah, it could be anyone's game for now.
While we wait for the Xbox boys to start ready up for qualifying, I want all of you guys to comment down who might be the race winner.
And while we do not have the map layout like we do in the other streams, just those who are new to the track, just a few few points about them. So it's a it's a fairly old track, and it's a circuit based off of a lot of straights and challenging high speed corners. So it is very tricky to plan for in terms of setup. So it will be very interesting to see who can optimize the straight line speed, but still managing it well in sector 2. And here we, like Nirma mentioned, here we go for the full qualified session. So it should, even though we have Parc Ferme, it should still give the drivers a lot of time to figure out what they need to do to strategize for the race.
As the qualifying begins, we have the beautiful Mercedes leaving pit lane. I believe, I don't know who that is as of now. But then they have an 18-minute qualifying session. It's going to be a long qualifying session. It's going to be exciting. And it's going to be really hard for these guys to put up consistent lap after lap to stay in the relevant positions and get that amazing starting grid. In contrast to the PC leagues that we have short quality, these guys are going to have full qualifying, which is interesting to see, and how these guys are going to manage the times.
Yes, indeed. I see cars have already gone out for out laps. Most likely right now people will just get some banker laps, just get a good sense of the track and their setups. And as you know, for Q1, you need to be in the top 15. But since we have 16 drivers today, I think I'm not sure how the game decides who to go for Q2. Emma, you have any idea on this?
To be honest, I stopped doing full qualified sessions post F1 2019 in career mode, so I have no idea how the game is going to proceed. I think only it's going to follow the same rules and regulations as with the real F1. It's going to kick out the bottom fours, and then it's going to kick out the bottom five, all the cars below P10, and then it's going to be top 10. So I think only one driver might be kicked out from this session.
Well, we'll find out in about 16 minutes. Anyone in the chat, if you know about this, having seen more of these races, to let us know. But yes, Q1, you just have to send it just enough to know a stable setup and just to make it through Q1. So I think in case if it's only one unlucky driver to be knocked out, then it's not big. It's not a big pressure. There may be some technical issues with the lobby, but we are checking on that because I don't see anyone doing hot lap. It's just alternating between hot lap. Okay, so here we go. I think it's taken 93 from Haas. It seems like he's on a hot lap now. So Nima, take us through the lap and how you think he's performing.
First, second, third turns after long straight are going to be really essential to get a good jump on the DRS straight over here, which is going to be relatively short as we head onto the left-hander, which is going to be a really, really common place to see people getting corner cuts as we have there. He has invalidated his lap right there. Another essential part to maintain your track limits as we change the camera, and I don't know where we are right now.
So we got the first fastest lap, which is a 1:15.17 from Kathy. So I think they will be faster times, but it's there up there by a margin.
This chicane, this corners that PKR went through, is going to be essential to carry the momentum through and get a good close the gap with the car ahead, essentially to get a good DRS jump on him and send it down the inside for the stadium section, which is always fun to do.
Right, as we see HP58 Gaming, one of the front runners, have a go at hot lap. I think he was giving quite a bit of a tow to the guys behind, but I think they have fallen back, naturally showing the pace difference between the Racing Point driver and the rest. I think he took the last corner a bit conservatively, but everything looks smooth. Any ideas on the setup Xbox League uses? Is it mostly controller, or they also have a dominance of a racing league like the PC?
I have no clue. Looking at the inputs from HP58, it looks like he's on controller, but it's really refined as compared to the other drivers. So I think everyone is going to be a controller guy on the Xbox as we see the Ferrari impeding HP58. I guess it's going to be a report incoming for the stewards to look into, as HP58 goes 6/10 slower than his teammate. As long as both the racing points finish in good points, it's going to be it's going to construct a overtake and standings in the racing point will be beaten. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it's all the controller guys on Xbox. There might be a few wheel boys hiding in there somewhere, probably getting used to the wheel or something. But for the Xbox guys, as of now, I'm taking my guess it's controller, and they're going to be going for controller settings.
Well, in that case, I don't envy to participate in this. Had I had a controller, console. But we have seen many banker laps, to say the least, being set. So most of the grid is going out now.
It's gotten really busy, that track. If you are a driver, you wouldn't want to leave the pits right now. Probably look at the laps people are putting in. Try to guess what you are doing wrong right now, since we see Red Bull locking his left tires, going into the part of the track where you need to carry the momentum all through to get a good DRS line. Very easy to invalidate a lap, as we see 208 going faster sector 1, but I think someone else has napped that from him. As we still have yellow sector 1, 2, and 3. A lot of cars giving way to our drivers.
We see the McLaren driver through the last few corners. Nothing. Okay, I think he lost a bit over there. There is a massive traffic from the Renault. I'm not sure if it's a team strategy, but definitely something to be worried about. But not to take that away from the time, which is still a competitive 166. But I'm sure he would like to improve on it.
I think none of us mentioned it, but the 2 racing points of CAT and HB58 has been separated by Rahul 941 from AlphaTauri, so it's going to be difficult for Racing Point drivers to get the lead in the championship. While the second racing AlphaTauri is still in the pits, while we have Phase Fighter going slow on the track.
Yeah, definitely. In the WCC battle, it's where both teammates have to contribute equally. So yeah, let's see what he delivers. I'm sure he would like to set a time to make it through Q1. But for now, we only have about 5 drivers who are yet to set the lap time. So let's see. I think Red Skull is giving another go after having a few invalidated laps. Let's see how he does.
Locking his right tires yet again on turn 1, turn 2 taken beautifully, turn 3 taken spectacularly. You can't take those turns any better than what Red Skull just did. Getting the DRS for a short run for the left-hander, the place where a lot of people are going to get their laps invalidated and probably get a lot of penalties. Goes over.
I have a question. He has 100% ERS, but he's still somehow setting purple sector 1. I'm not sure if he's on a cooldown lap, but he's giving it a go, so perhaps it's a bug in the game.
Or he might be just too OP for the Xbox boys and giving himself a handicap, saying, nope, I am not going to use my ERS. Going purple sector 2, heading into the stadium chicane. What? Chicane? No, section. Yes, there we go. I forgot my English for a second. Heading for the final few corners, can he get P1 from the Racing Point drivers who are currently P1 and P2? Red Bull goes P9, 118 to 71.
Definitely looks faster than it appears.
Yes, I hate your Codemasters for giving me that excitement for a brief second. While the top 3 are so damn close. Full lap time is 1:15.0 to 1. P2 is 1:15.170 and P3 is 1:15.288. Bravo, Catty, and HB. Yes, it's all within 2 tenths, those 3 drivers. It's going to be one hell of a race to watch.
And I see Red Skull has also set a valid time, so he's up there in the points for now. But again, Q1, you just have to make it in the top 15. In this case, even if it's top 15, yes, not a lot of pressure, but I think we have more drivers joining a bit later. So now it's a race of not being the bottom 2 on the time score.
I mean, from my experience, I think the most optimum place to start would be around the bottom positions of Q2, since turn 1, the first 2 sectors are really tight corners, and first initial laps are going to be contact everywhere. And I wouldn't want to risk losing a wing. I'd rather start way down the grid than risking starting midfield and the possibility of getting rear-ended or losing the front wing. So if you got the pace, I would say try looking for starting position in bottom parts of Q2. And as we have capacity, butchering the entire section where you need to carry as much pace as you can to get a good launch with the DRS2, as a 62% DRS. Might go for another lap, possibly can. Never mind, the rear slides the scar. Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely needs some tweak in the setup department. And I
Did he
think
just touch
that's
the wall?
what caused the yellow sector.
Did he just touch the wall? That's I think he did.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, we have faced fight one of the Ferrari drivers with his teammate Simply YT and B12 cleared from Q1 elimination. Phase fighter next needs to get 127 or better to stay out of the elimination zone as we go into the place where a lot of people touch that sausage. So does he, but then his car doesn't cross, but he gets a lot of oversteer from there as he takes the corner relatively better than the drivers.
Meanwhile, did HP58 retire or is he just disconnected? I saw that Sector 1 had yellow flag. Did that have anything to do with this?
I think he was still in the pits. I didn't notice him. I just noticed his name grayed out right now. Might have retired or he might have just crashed his car out when he better his lap time. So that might give Rahul and Kathy much more of an opportunity to jump, but then I keep forgetting it's a long qualifying, it's full qualifying, so they don't need to go out as long as they stay in top 10 up till Q3, they don't need to push. So I think these three drivers are going to be holding back the pace as we have Rahul also probably retiring from the session because they know that they're safe there. So I think it's just retiring from the session, it's not them rushing down. As we have contended Link 29 taking it through, heading into the cast section, stadium section. I keep forgetting. I keep confusing Mexico with Black. Sorry.
I see you're still excited about the last race in the official season, so can't blame you there. Contended would be happy with his time of 1:15.6, so that should put him fairly safe. But you never know. We still have 4 minutes left, so there should be yet another couple hot laps that drivers can do to bridge the gap just a bit more.
I don't know if you've noticed, but then I love P8. I just love the name. I want him to win this race. But yeah, as the qualifying is about to end, we need the bottom drivers to set a lap time. And as I say that, Phase Fighter jumps from P16 to P13, pushing PKR out of pushing PKR out into the elimination zone with both the Renaults getting out qualified.
And while we saw just a few moments ago, both Renault cars were on the track, so perhaps it's just a matter of getting the setup just right to get valid time. So let's see if Ninja 247 can do that.
Too wide over there. Luckily not invalid in this number. It might be an outcome, I don't know. Or as he just cuts the grass, or he doesn't dust the apex, he goes too wide, getting oversteered. It's entirely butchered lap. He's not going to gain on that time whatsoever. You're better saving your ERS and just going for the lap. He's already too low on it. There's no fuels going on the lap. I think if you pit, and no, you cannot pit and exit the pit still, so it's entire butchered lap. Yeah, there's no way he's going to improve. So he just needs to cross his fingers and hope that none of the bottom 4 drivers improve on the lap time. As suspected, he is 9/10 below that from his personal best of 119.1.
So we already see this fight between maintaining straight line speed while keeping a car that you can actually control through sectors 2 and 3. That is definitely showing up with these drivers.
This camera is beautiful. Bottom angle with the cars zooming past, never gets in. As we have Frankenstein 44 getting limelight with the camera and just misses P6 by 2 hundredths of a second.
again, I think that the ERS counter is broken, but it's obvious he's still giving it another go, as we have 1 minute 30 seconds left on the clock. I'm still surprised why Ninja is in the pits. Perhaps he's happy with the position he has, and
Ninja might
has
be
listened
with
to
my
your
strategy.
strategy, Ninja. I mean, Nirmal.
Yes, he might be playing with my strategy because, from my experience in the previous season at Eco, the race start was absolutely chaotic because obviously it's turn 1, 2, 3, really close by. So it's inevitable to see wings fly, cars spinning, and then you got another short burst straight, another tight zone, braking zones, and as we have a car
Oh, lock up.
locks up, that's bad for Frankenstein. Do you think it's going to be a report or it's just
He'll be
Frankenstein?
fine for the current session, but still, I think he was up a few tenths, so he'd be kicking himself for just losing it in the end.
But it wouldn't matter anyway, right? Because it's Q2 and the top 15 are going to be in, and he's in P7, so there's no way he's going to lose in P7. The only people who need to be worried are Face Fighter, C, Shaker. But Ninja hasn't left yet, that's weird. I mean, at least I would have said something. Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's he is in the session, so I'm not sure what's the reason there. Well, we have checkered flag, and pretty much everyone except Shaker, who felt he was in the danger zone, went for another lap.
and Shaker consistently messing up that corner. How do you think you should approach that specific corner where you're going to see a lot of drivers getting penalty points and invalidations?
Yeah, I think you need to be a bit more conservative in the first corner. The main one is in the exit of the next corner, so you have to prepare for that. You can sacrifice a bit in the first one to just be on the safer side. But yeah, I think it was his outlet perhaps, as the session has come to an end.
We have HB58 Carry Rahul in the top 3, whereas we have PKR Raghav and GRM Ninja out of Q1. We have
So
the
you
top
were right.
15 drivers.
Top 15 goes to Q2.
There we go. Yes, Nirma is always right. Nirma is the national version of India, so he will never be wrong. Haha.
Well, let's see how much they push for Q2. So we have 115.0 to beat.
You can see how many extended track limits we have over here. It's going to be a bloodbath when it comes to penalty points. You're going to have a lot of drivers jumping positions in the final finishing order after the race ends, because I had one in the previous season. The driver ahead of me got a final moment penalty points, and one of the people joined the voice chat and told me to close the time to at least 2 tenths to get the P7 or P6, and I got it by just 1 tenth in the end. So you're gonna have that a lot for these people, probably mostly in the midfield, as we have Simply YT switching to the medium tires. Interesting stats. What do you think? Are mediums going to be better on this Q2?
I think it's more in line with the race strategy, because if you qualify for Q3 in the top 10, you start with the tires you use for the best lap in Q2. So here you see a lot of drivers are prioritizing mediums, and I think it's not that unconventional because many people are doing it. So you just have to be faster than the bottom 5 to be on the safer side. And we haven't discussed the fact that this track is also susceptible to wet conditions, because I think I've had 2 seasons where Mexico was wet, or at least part of the race was wet.
No way.
I'm not sure about the luck of the Xbox League, but that can also come into the play.
We have Williams full send on the AlphaTauri.
Everybody's trying to jump in on the front like it's like it's Monaco. Very interesting.
But yeah, back to what he was saying about the wet conditions. What do you want to think? How is the outcome going to be if it's actually wet over here for all the controller drivers?
So moments like this is where I really miss the telemetry worked on by our team. of excellent developers. So I think the drivers had a chance to look at the weather for the race session. So I think it's going to be dry at least for the first half because they are still considering mediums. Otherwise, I think softs would have been wiser. But let's see. I think we have drivers starting their hot laps as we speak.
We have Star Max Lord taking turn 1, 2, and 3, kissing the apexes. Beautifully done. Goes to the DRS straight. Again, short one. On lap 1, you're going to find a lot of chaos in these corners where we go to a place where he misses that apex, goes too deep, manages to get it in there, not invalidated yet. Two right-handers getting that exit right now. This is where you carry the most momentum, the maximum momentum you can to get good run down the DRS straight, which is long enough. And if this was the section which would determine how much of a good run down you get into the stadium section, there we finally get it right. Yes. As we get to the final few corners, this view never gets so beautiful. As he here slips out a little, he's going to lose a little bit of time over there as we get a first timed lap from the Alfa Romeo of Star Max Stock. It's going to be a 115.6 soft tires.
Yeah, pretty respectable. I think people are pushing it in this session, even though here you should prioritize your tires after getting a competitive time, but very admirable. If I was him, I'll save the tires and wait it out.
Oh, it's 2 tenths off from, probably 1 tenth from Star Max Lord.
I think it's 115.6 versus 116.7, so yeah, I think it's a fair bit more. But again, I think the racing point driver can give it another go because they have harder tires, and the same is true for Cathy, even though they improved a bit by 4 tenths even.
I think Cathy and HB58 might be, sandbagging as of now, since it's full qualifying. I don't think we're going to see that actual pace in the final moments of Q3. As we have past 8 without what is the lap time? Alright.
I think it's a banker lap. I don't think it will be the final stage. We've seen already better results from Q1. And we see a lockup by Red Skull. I think he seems to be struggling a bit in this section, but I think he's taken these corners a bit better. Really pushing it till the edge, but I won't be happy to be his tires right now.
This is the first apex, but he nails the rest of the apexes. So his entry was a bit weird, and mid-section was okay like this. It can be better as we go to the stadium section, and this is where people are. He blocks up massively, missing the apex completely. It's not going to be good lap time, folks, but then it's something at least from Red Skull, who knows he can go. Goes 55 to 117.0, 3 tenths off from HP 58.
Yeah, perhaps I think many drivers are still figuring out their setups. I'm not sure if they can tweak a lot between these sessions, but I think there is still some leeway. So many lockups you see, as we see a tussle between the two familiar drivers from Williams and AlphaTauri. I hope there's no damage. Yeah, it appears to be fine at the moment, but
is that the Williams of Rahul 941?
no,
Sorry,
I think it's triple. Oh, Alpha, perhaps, yes.
I think it was those same guys where triple arc wheels centered down the inside of Rahul 941 on Banco lap on starting of Q2. So I think these guys have a long history of battles on track. So I think we are going to be keeping a close eye on these two guys on track.
But Rahul is still going for the hot lap, so I think all is well. But yes, it's much more exciting seeing people show character while doing even qualifying well.
Oh,
And
massive lockup. It's not uncommon to see massive lockup number one and then second sector as well. As we go here, braking is one of the optimum. The better you brake, the better you get. An exit as is kissing that apex, but completely eats his car with second apex. Taking this section alright. Now this is where he needs to carry maximum momentum. Getting that apex right on the entry, goes wide on the second and third turns. Gets this one right. Oh, nails that. Could have been better. Probably 110 to 210 right there. That section.
I still commend that these drivers are putting as many assists off as they can get away with, and with controller drivers we have very few of them, or at least the ones who make it in the higher tiers who can pull that off. But most of us, including a pleb like me, we are dependent on the ABS so that we don't lock up like that.
Yes, that is
true. So it's still good to see these drivers to still push it, while we see both Alfa Romeos on the top, with Frank this time getting 1:15.6, so that should be good enough. Only separated by 5 thousandths of a second.
Yikes.
So
government, love me some space.
Again, this session is not about getting the fastest time. It's just about getting the top 10 positions and saving your tires for the race. But
as we have pace fight imbalance.
But I do see people are giving it their best for bragging it, so that's always good to see.
It's always essential a sort of dominance rather than looking at you cannot tell me this. You need to make the other driver feel inferior and tell them, no, yours, I am good. You do not need to track. Make way for your game the driver.
Well, that's inside of the mind of a tier 2 driver right there.
Yes. But no. I fail. I refuse to accept. As we have controversy. And I mean, I don't know, experience about that one. What do you think?
I mean, he set up a purple sector too. If that has anything to say.
Let me go to the stadium section. Just this is the apex, but exit over here is what's going to determine him getting a good run for a lap. I've seen a lot of guys sticking on the inside to get a good time, and it was P5.
Yeah, I think he definitely made up time there. He perhaps had a relatively poor sector 2, but he made up for that.
Rahul sitting there on P4 with medium tires, and the next driver with mediums is HB58. Would you really, if you are HB58, what are you gonna think? Do you really want to switch tires and go for a quick run, or are you just gonna think that, alright, I'm going to P8 as long as the bottom two drivers go on?
I mean, the gap between him and the current P1 is about a second, and there is a much wider gap in the positions below him. So there is always like a wildcard situation where someone can set a monster lap and can put him in the danger zone. But with 4 minutes left, I guess he can afford one more go just to be satisfied. As his teammate has already gone out on soft just to set his time. So what I thought initially about medium tires, it looks like they were mostly for banker laps. Mostly people are going to send it on soft, and the top 10 looks like mostly would be full of softs. So in this situation, tire management definitely on top priority. We still see many drivers on the bottom, interestingly still on the mediums. Well, they get to choose their tires if they end up in that position. So I would like to see them push it just a bit on softs. Give the best time they can get for the race.
But then the positions of C Seeker and contended Wink is, I would say, optimum for a P for 17 travel thread to start on, because if you want to be starting on the midfield of top 10s, from P4, I'll say P6 to P11 and or P12 is the danger zone, for my opinion, right now, because you're gonna have a lot of close racing, and if you think you can go wheel to wheel with the drivers in your lobby and you like have enough of a mental understanding of how they drive, then sure you can start in the midfield. But then if you're not confident enough, I would say start from where C Shaker and Basti, Face Fighter, P12 and P15 right now are. It's going to give them a good run if we can keep the front wings and avoid getting penalties in the entire race. I think it's going to be a P7 or P6 finish for these two drivers.
As we say that, on one hand, Contender is happy to be in the midfield and he is in P8 now, while Cathy from Racing Point, as we had alluded to earlier, have set the fastest lap on soft. That could be happening with HP58 soon, but again, P9, yeah, I'd want to just be on the safer side at this point, as we have 1 minute and 45 seconds left. As you see, simply go for his first hot lap. He's been warming his tires quite a bit, as you see Spun Alpha Tauri. He's been taking his sweet time for track evolution to take place to set a good time. I also noticed one of the drivers, I think it was the other Ferrari, he got a 5-place grid penalty, so that should remove his chances for a Q3 drive. That's very unfortunate. I'm not sure if we caught what happened there, but so far it's looking tidy but not optimal for Simply as we go through the last few corners in the stadium section. Yep, not a lot to complain, but he's fighting with the grip. And it is looking like a fast time. And a massive 115.6 on medium, showing that he just have to show up and do one lap just to secure his place in Q3.
And T1 T3 pretty close, 500th second between them.
Well, it's not looking very good for his teammate, but this still allows many drivers to still give it one last go as we are running down the clock. Let's see if the Williams driver can improve and secure a top 10 place. At this point, we only have a few drivers out, so what you see in the grid is most likely how it's going to end up for the session. A bit of a struggle in that corner, but it's still anyone's game. Oh, that was, yeah, that should invalidate. No, but I think he slowed down. So at that point, yeah, is that time competitive enough?
Actually, if we improve, if we still on this lap, I'm done.
Yeah, at that point, might as well give it a go. You never know. Maybe the last corner you didn't have a great exit, so maybe you can put a better one now. And yes, it's just about just by 2/10 even. So yeah, goes to show, never give up.
Incognito Jersey is starting from where I would want to honestly start in the race, 17 other drivers. That's like the most safest place you can start, since you don't have a lot of drivers behind you, so you can manage that at least, and you're going to have a lot of collision in front. So if you're quick enough and you're sensible enough to know when to go for a move and how to go for a move, it's P6, P5 finish for you there. Easy P5, P6.
I have somewhat of a contrary opinion about your starting position though. If you're on the first two rows, especially second and fourth, you can get a lot of tow in the start. So if you keep it out of the traffic, because you only have a few drivers ahead of you at most, I think it's still a good strategy to have. I don't know if
Sorry to
it's
interrupt you,
as
but then we
aggressive.
have face fighter with a 5 position crit penalty.
Yeah, so we saw that earlier in the session. I'm not sure what caused it, but yeah, that secures his position out of Q2. I think he will start from P18 even. So I don't think we have 18 drivers, so he may start from the end of the grid because of this penalty.
But then, yeah, going back to the discussion we were having, this opinion of mine is only for tracks with initial tight corners. Like you have Monaco, for example. You have no Monaco is an exception. You need to qualify as high as you can in that track. But tracks like I would say Suzuka, tracks like Mexico, where the initial corners are tight and you're gonna have a lot of inevitable collisions. From my experience, at least. Bahrain too, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, in that case, if you know, if you're confident that you can set a fast lap in Q3 and can get secure a place in the top few positions, I'd say yeah, still give it a go. Otherwise, yes, if you are fighting between P10 and P11, definitely you'd want to be in P11 over P10. So I see your point there, and the last session has started, and already drivers are out trying to set a fast lap. At this point, you are just supposed to send in. You get a few sets of stocks. You just have to burn through them. Just get the best position you can start, or whatever suits your strategy.
I think HB58 has been sandbagging this entire time, so I think we're going to see full send the entire Q3. As we are on board the ground, it's going to be one of the few drivers to start on my lap. We have Red Skull, who has been a little bit inconsistent, but he really shined in Q2. Now on board with HB58, heating up his tires. Simply YT, one of the most active members, I believe, from the Xbox League, who is very open to talk to people, and especially the newcomers in IRC. So that's really, really good. Having a friendly attitude and still being competitive on the track as well. As we are on board, Carry, second driver from Racing Point, and Bravo 941 is now on a hot lap, a long straight, now gets ERS 1. It's already down to 75% ERS. Going to send it down the inside, right top up, coming up in 3, 2, 1. Not there. Okay, I have been intervened. It goes left, right, and it goes right again. And another DRS goes now. And this is where a lot of drivers have been missing the apex, not maximizing the exit, mostly invalidating the lap time. Now he gets left lock, goes too deep, kind of pushes his exit on this part of the track. 2 double right handles. This is where momentum is going to matter. The entire lap will come together. Almost touches the apex there. Go left and we go 2. We're going to go right and then left again. And this is where drivers go wide. Just manages to keep that lap in there.
Yeah, he was basically on the edge as he locked up again in the same section. Entry. Let's see what's it's invalidated in the second last corner. Just goes to show how frustrating it could be to set a valid time in this track. So we have the McLaren of Tula giving it a go. It's the time to beat right now. It's 1:16.2, which I'm sure will be easily beaten.
Oh yes.
Tracking time seems a bit slow, but yep, it's a bike lap for both HB58 and tracking time.
That was our ample amount of time. 8 minutes, 20.
Teams have more than half of the grid right now. So you can see how dominant these teams are. Goes to show we may need some rebalancing in the future seasons to make it competitive for all the teams. As Rahul sets it in 1:14.8, the fastest we've seen in today so far. So yeah, that's what we've been waiting for people to finally push it as fast as we can. And whatever we were saying about the Alpha Tauri driver in the past, well, he has shut us up for now.
Yep, the AlphaTauri's and the Renault and the Racing Points are that constructors like really confused. As we have the McLaren on the right side, does not beat Starman, so goes for P2 151.
Yep, I think in this session it will be much closer than we've seen in the so far. So every tenth of a second will make a difference in your grid position. And again, it's just a game of chicken even at some point where do you want to end up in the grid? It can be determined by someone else's luck or pace. Oh, and we see triple up cool lose it a bit after the back straight. Going through sector 2 relatively well, but you really need to send it to secure top spot. I think it's his second go, so let's see how he does.
It's essentially a do or die situation at this point for bottom drivers. Either you full send or you're just going to be crying, struggling the entire time. I'd rather lose my car and crash out in qualifying than hold back, to be honest.
Yeah, but you don't want to set a great lap only to invalidate it in the last few turns. So it's always a thin line you have to walk. But we've seen almost everyone everyone has gone out, but all but Kathy has set a valid lap time. And Kathy may pull a simply now by waiting it out, but it's yet to be seen.
Don't worry,
Simply in the meanwhile,
that's the racing point. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but in the meanwhile, Simply has set a 151, and mind you, he will start on the mediums. So
And
he's looking very
gap
well.
between the two drivers is 200 seconds, really close in terms of qualifying. Consistently, the Xbox lead.
Yeah, I'd say even if you start in the middle of the grid with mediums, and with that pace, I think you're looking for a good result. Frankenstein did not seem to improve on his time, still P9 with a time he'd like to improve on.
What do you think about the tire strategy on this track? Is it going to be a one-stop, or do you think the driver's going to go for a two-stop?
I'm not sure about how much incident happened here, but realistically, I think people would be gunning for one stopper because you've seen at least a couple drivers stick with mediums, so they are in there for a single stop. But again, incidents can happen, safety cars can happen, so all the soft runners who have qualified to Q3 are hoping for that. Again, I've seen many drivers complain about hards in this track, so I'm not sure whether the driver starting with softs would like to continue with hards, or they would go for a full stopper and just send it. What would you do in that situation?
I would go for a double stop if I think I have a race, or else if I know I'm just slow as compared to the other driver, I'm just going to go for the odds and honestly hope for the best. Because there have been a few tracks that I've actually gone on odds, even though people telling me that the odds are garbage, but then surprisingly finishing ahead of where I qualified. So I'd say go for what is good for you, and if my practice races, I test every single scenario. And if the odds work for me on that track, even regardless of people telling me, I'm just going to stick to the odds. So in the end, I think it's going to decide. The tire strategy may depend on your starting grid, incidents in the race, like you said, and your pace. So I think hards might be a good strat for few drivers. More they can handle the tire degrade in the end.
Yeah. What about in your ideal starting position of P12 onwards? What would you predict might happen there? Would people go for softs, or they would start with a much harder compound?
So they're going to easily stop this. They have because I'd rather have lesser fuel and a softer tire compound in the end than have a lesser fuel and harder tire compound, because I think I can push, and that's, I think, the most ideal and the most taken strategy. But then if you go for the softs, you're going to be bidding with front runners as well. And if your teammate is one of those front runners, you might get impeded in the lap in pit lane, like my teammate and I got, because I was starting out the top 10s and I went for the one stop strat, the rest of the softs. And when my teammate pitted and I pitted at the same lap, stupid enough, and I got a very slow pit stop. So you also need to keep in mind for that. If your teammate is quicker than you and you go for the tire strats that the top 10s are running for, you might get impeded in the pit lane.
Looks like that is something you would have to think if you are racing point drivers, and both of them are within hundredths of a second of each other. But while we see that, Star Max Lord has said, well, you two figure it out, I'll be on the front. And he has said 147 while we were discussing this. So again, very fast competitive times I'm seeing from everyone so far. It's been very exciting. Now being in 115 seems like not an ideal place. So everyone's trying to push it into the 114. But I think the Williams is still figuring it out, how to push it to the limit.
P2, 3 and P4, all of these guys are within 400 of each other. What is going on? How competitive is Xbox? It's beautiful and exciting to watch, as we have Rahul, who leaves the session because he probably knows about Pro. And we have Triple Pro taking a beautiful line. Yes, that's the new racing line in the new update of F1 2021. Probably he's beta testing the game, so he just took the racing line.
Could be a bit of a lag also towards the end, but yeah, we are running down the clock, so probably the best time to leave. Simply does not get to improve on his time, but I'm sure he'll be happy to start with mediums. Let's see, HP 58.
Gets P1! Grazie!
Gets P1 with 1/10 faster speed of 114. So again,
what carry pull out? Carry stays P4, P1, P4 start for the racing point. I keep calling the master point, I'm sorry. And P2 start max Lord. That's good. I think, where does P2 start on this track? The outside on the inside?
Yeah, ideally, if you lock up one row in the same team, you can give each other tow. But now it's a predicament where everyone is split by other team drivers. It's just a matter of cat and mouse figuring it out. Given how close they all are in pace, it will be very interesting to see what happens in the race, which will start in a few minutes. So, what's your opinion thus far? Who are the drivers you'll be looking out for in the race?
The drivers I'll be looking out for will be Red Skull. He has showed signs of pace in Q2. So I think he has the pace, but he's not consistent. But I want to see what he does in the race. Because if he's quick and he manages to not get penalties, he's going to jump the order really quick. And I'm also going to keep my eye out for Catty. He is the other racing point who needs to finish ahead of Rahul to maximize the points that Racing Point get, and then that they get the jump on AlphaTauri. It's a difference of around 9 points between AlphaTauri and Racing Point. So if Rahul wins the race, it's GGWP for Alpha, who might retain the lead. But then if Caddy gets the move done on Rahul, it's an easy overtake in the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah. So while we wait and notice all the Denmark fans in the chat, just keep in mind our leaderboards have different names for comparative to what you see right now, just because of their Discord IDs. So we have Ace Axe on AlphaTauri who's leading. He is using a different name on the track. So same goes for Simply, who is Juice Boy 999, Juice World fan. I see you on our leaderboard. So yeah, definitely a race to see between AlphaTauri and Racing Point to see whether AlphaTauri can maintain the lead or Racing Point, with their incredible pace that we saw in these sessions, could take it uh, take the lead. And I think it's just the last few races pending in the whole calendar, so it's a very close battle, very exciting. I also noticed how having fewer cars in subsequent qualifying sessions kind of allows you to give your best without having to worry too much about traffic. So, do you consider us adopting something along these lines for, say, tier one on PC?
Essentially, it would depend on the drivers if they can spend the amount of time before qualifying actually takes. But yes, it's actually exciting to see a full qualifying session being held by the Xbox guys. It brings up a lot of exciting things to look forward to. And yes, it's also going to be strategic when to show their actual pace, when not to show their actual pace. So I will agree. I think we should try adopting this for PC leagues, but then it essentially come up to the voting done within the drivers themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. The PC drivers don't seem to be as committed to this as I saw here from my first impressions. But this is still something we can experiment in our social races to just get a
As we
sense of.
have 4 drivers disqualifying in the formation lap, starting on ice cold tires right there. No, 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 not exactly what I'll be doing. No, 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 no.
Nirma doesn't approve.
Nirma does this.
Yeah, Sekhar with I think medium tires to start. Yeah, not the ideal condition, but hopefully in the first straight you remember this and brake a bit more conservatively. But as I just noticed Rahul is also starting on mediums, so both Rahul and Simply up there with very fast pace on mediums. This will be very exciting to see how the strategies plays out comparative to Racing Point, who still decided to switch to softs in Q2. I could see that for HB58, but Cathy is an interesting case. They were the first ones to go on softs despite being much safer. So let's see how the different strategies pan out. Hopefully they all survive, at least in the first half. I'm really excited to see whether this becomes eventful like in Tier 3 on PC, or this will be a bit more boring like Tier 1 nowadays on PC. As we see, the drivers, they are lining up, ready for the race. Quite a
As
few
we have
drivers actually
posted.
got disqualified while we were talking.
Yes.
So,
Oh, we had another driver disqualified. No, Face Fighter.
in fact, 2 of them. So, anyways, like I mentioned, Face Fighter would be starting from the back because he got 5 grade penalty.
As we
If there were
have
more
5
drivers.
red lights out, and we're gonna wait for the cars to go. As we have a jump start by 2 cars. What is
I think
going
it's
on?
Cody's being Cody's. There is a
And
desync issue
away
maybe.
we go with the drivers, the Racing Point getting a beautiful start with the Alfa Romeo, closely getting and pursue the carry on the outside on the Racing Point. Ferrari on the inside. What is going to happen in turn 1? The Alfa Romeo splitting the 2 Racing Points. We have the Mercedes sending it on the inside. No collisions yet as of now. And as I say that, I jinxed it, and we have a flying wing. Some all the cars coming out relatively alive. as we have a lot of changing positions. I believe the Alfa Romeo has got the jump on both the racing points, as we have HB58 with a horrible start going by. That is not what you want to see if you are battling for the constructors title. But it's just a few more races to go. That is not what you want. That's not what you want to do.
Well, even AWS seems to suggest to start, even, but this is only for soft drivers. And yeah, maybe it's a bug, but the Renaults are on the front at the moment. I think they are coasted, so yeah, I think there is some issue with the game at the moment. So we'll let this settle down. But still, we see the Alfa Romeo of Star Max Loss maintaining the lead.
As we have face fighter already with a penalty in the first round. So, like I said, we have a lot of penalties, and we have 4 drivers starting in the medium. Yes, the Renault drivers ghosted. Very weird. As we have Raul in the pits already, going for the hard tires so early on. Do you think the hot's gonna last the entire race?
First of all, very unfortunate because he started on mediums. He was going to have an excellent strategy, but unfortunately, he has suffered damage and hards. It will be a challenge, but uh, given his skill, I see. I would like to see him manage it, but one stop would be a bit ambitious, in my opinion. He
For me,
may switch to softs towards the
I'm gonna be
end and
biased on
tend
that
to.
opinion. I'm gonna be biased on that opinion because I got my first race win in IRC going with a 1 stop and sticking to the hards till the end, where the commentators thought I would get a puncture. I somehow made the tires stick. So if you think you got the pace on 4 hard tires, I think you might be finishing the points. Well, given that he gets a safety car, that's a very big give. Given he gets a safety car.
Definitely. I'm not sure how much time you lose by pitting, but given the massive straight, definitely it should affect things.
But I think we're gonna do a race restart since the lobby was gone. We had both the Renaults going full sin
Yep,
jump
we have
start.
confirmation on a restart. So while we wait, if anyone has any messages in the chat, we can go through them.
We have a lot of people questioning
Well,
what's going on.
I'd recommend Nirma to start reading his fan mail before we continue.
Ah, yes, my fan mail. Reading the chat box right now, I had my YouTube account saying hello question mark, and Abhishek Dubey calling saying that he's a big fan of my work. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Nalamode saying, "Oh my God, IRC, yes, sir. We are back again with some quality content." Shoya Janda yelling my name. Yes, I know. I am being a sensation and the celebrity icon of IRC. Dwajin Kopinore yelling, "Let's go Xbox," and Dipanshu saying Nirma with the American accent. No, you are just jealous of my luscious voice. Musa saying, Nani, I joined the stream and I see a Renault flying off. Yes, we were questioning that too. Both the Renault starting down the grid, both go P1, P2. With F1 2021 almost out, it's surprising to see that we still get issues like these. I don't think a lot of people will be happy with the way the F1 game is heading, but then it's still enjoyable nonetheless. With Black Sheep later commenting, I joined the stream and streamer quits the lobby. Yes, I don't I am sorry. I apologize on behalf of Codemasters that we had a bug lobby. Very enjoyable first lap. What do you say?
Well, hadn't it not be due to Cody's work, I think, yeah, a lot of uh, love taps, to say the least, between the cars. I saw a lot of debris even in the starting straight. So, yeah, let's see if that dazes people and make them more conservative in the race restart. But
A few people I think are going to
the
be
more the
really happy.
carnage, the better it is for us. So, I don't mind it.
Yes, agreed. But the few people who are going to be really happy with the outcome of the restarting the lobby are going to be Racing Point drivers because Star Max Lord got a beautiful jump on both the racing points, sends it down the middle, nails the needle, and just gets P1. Whereas HB58 goes wide, butchers the second sector, and drops down P4, P5. And then we had Raul fit into the hard tires, and we had the Ferrari of I forgot the Ferrari's name. Shit. But we
Simply
had the Ferrari. Yeah, no,
Frankenstein.
not simply. It wasn't simply.
Frankenstein. He got three
Yes,
seconds.
yes. He got a 3 second penalty. So these 4-5 drivers are going to be really, really happy with the server restart. Unfortunate for Star Max Rod though, because he will be banging his wheel slash throwing his controller on the wall, calling this unfair, or probably.
Well, I'm sure he can bring it back. I believe in the pace. But yeah, if you're Rahul, you're thanking your stars for getting another go. Uh, Speaking of recent events, I got another go in our last league race, but it didn't amount to much. So I hope Rahul doesn't runs out of all of his luck with the restart. But yeah, let's see as
Oh
the
yeah,
lobbies.
talk about your experience from the last phase. What happened?
Well, I just jumped in after not really playing F1 in the past few weeks. So I've had a better outcome than the past few seasons where I was in the lead of the race only to get taken out. But yeah, I've seen happier. No, so I'm glad to have a much fortunate result. So I don't mind it.
While we wait for the session to be up with the appropriate positions for the drivers who qualified, and probably them starting on the exact same tire compounds that they started the race, uh, we're going to be chatting with you guys on chat box. So, what are your predictions for the race finishing order? Do let us know. And also let us know which driver is going to cause a safety car. That's always fun to find out. That's always fun to know who's the driver who causes the safety car.
And while we wait, I think we should uh, build a bit more onto the F121 release. Especially given its Indian racing community for all the racers based in India, there has been a massive price bump. I'm sure the Xbox drivers would be like first time, and they would be completely unfazed from that. But for us PC drivers on Steam, it does create an almost 3 to 4x jump in price. And given how it appears to be cosmetic change for the most part, besides damage model. Do you think it may turn off a lot of drivers, especially seeing bugs like this that deep into the game's age?
After getting a backing from EA, I think people are going to raise their expectations. Essentially, that's how the mindset works. But then, as for the beta testers testing the game, we have a few beta testers in IRC itself. All of them have been complimenting the game, how it feels, how the damage model feels, how it looks. And people are saying that money is surprisingly worth it. 3.5k rupees price on Steam for us PC games. People are calling it actually worth it and good investment. But then it might, but if you consider the issues like these on the game, it probably just bugs out. And sometimes in PC, the game just crashes even before the race starts. It's going to annoy a few people. So if you got a low end PC, probably a 1050 Ti, somewhere around there, you're probably going to consider not getting the game or getting the game. Might trying it out, don't know. But people with high end PCs, high end gaming laptops, might just get the game eyes closed because they know that this can handle it. So it's essentially going to come down to can your specs run it? Because as of now, all the reviews I've seen, Arava posting, talking to the guys in IRC who are beta testing the game, all of them are praising the game as of now.
Yeah, but I still think we have to wait and see when the game comes out because all the reviews you have mentioned so far are from the people who are most excited about the series to begin with. So they may come from a different place. But yeah, uh, I'm excited to see the new liveries, the new damage model, especially, and of course uh, the tracks which were not available this year but were there in the 2020 season. I really look forward to see how they look and drive. So while we wait more, yeah, I'm interesting to know, is it much harder to set up a lobby on console versus on PC? On Steam, you just need to be friends with another fellow driver, or thanks to again to our IRC developers, we have an internal tool where you just click a link and you join the lobby. Do our Xbox Pros have something like that in place? As far as I know, I think you have direct invites from the Xbox app, but I'm not sure if they have anything else that
Okay.
can speed this up.
It's been ages since I've played on console. I think the last time I played on my Xbox was 2 years ago, before my Xbox has straight up died on me, and I've switched to PC gaming ever since. So I have no clue what's the situation for the Xbox boys. But then I think it's going to be worth the wait, because looking at the qualifying, it's not a huge difference. We're going to get a lot of wheel to wheel racing. So I'd rather wait this entire time, get treated with good battle, than just wait all this time and see a huge difference between the front runners and midfielders. Because if you look at it, the positions from P1 to P10 are all pretty close. So you're gonna have a good battle, and if you also have a good tire strat, you might also get a jump on the drivers.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, just as a reminder, we had who was P1? Was it Rahul? Yeah, I think it was Rahul was P1, who will also start with mediums, just like Simply, which who is in P2, Star Max Lord, P3, followed by Frankenstein, uh, Tula and HSP, HS50, HP58, sorry, P5 and P6 respectively. Red Skull managed to secure P7, and Rahul is actually P8, not P1. My bad. Control Contra Bobby and Triple Akoi are the last two in the top 10. So out of the 10 drivers, I think only two of them are starting on mediums, and they are pretty far apart too. So we'll get to have a taste of how the medium tire strategy would work out, as long as they don't have to change it earlier than expected. Well, while we wait, I guess one can argue those who got knocked out in Q2 could have just had dinner between these sessions and come back for the race. So it's very interesting to see how much dedication in terms of time, especially the Xbox drivers are giving for the league race. And I still see a respectable amount of attendance, all things considered. We do still have a few reserve drivers racing today, mainly Frankenstein, but still, I still commend the dedication given by the Xbox Pros.
Wait, we wait for the lobby to restart.
Well, we see the countdown for the session restart. Let's wait for the drivers to join the lobby, and the race is about to start yet again. Again, thank you if you stuck by through the sessions and the technical difficulties. You will soon be rewarded with a lot of wheel-to-wheel action, as we said earlier.
I might also reward you with some free Washington Nirma merchandise. Wink, wink.
Well, whoever is interested, please contact him.
And if you are new here, welcome to the Indian racing community Xbox F1 League. If you're Indian and you aren't a member of IRC, please check the description. You're gonna have the Discord link. Join the family and have fun with the friendly community we have established at Indian racing community, where we race and we also have fun in some FPS shooters. Because why not?
And even if you are just an enthusiast for motor racing, motorsports, but not that much into gaming, you can always subscribe to the channel. We have events lined up for more than half a week, every week. So you have something to watch every evening almost. So we go from Thursdays to Sundays, right? Even? Or sometimes even on the other days.
Tomorrow we have an ACC league, the ACC's first race of season 3, which I am going to be racing in. It's going to be fun. First race of the season. We don't know I don't know what the pace of the other drivers is, and we also have different classes this time. And I've been placed in the amateur class, and we have a lot of drivers in the silver class, which is essentially the faster drivers. So there's no way I'm going to be finishing in the points, but then it's going to be fun, and it's, I think, 20 plus drivers for the maiden race of season 3 of ACC. So do join in tomorrow for some GT3 action and some roaring engine sounds.
And for the F1 fans, we have more races down the line over the weekends. From Saturday and Sunday, we have the 3-tier races. And this week, we have Singapore on the calendar. So that's yet another
A lot
track.
of flying wings. A lot of flying wings.
So a lot of action-packed races coming up. Which track is the first one for tomorrow's race?
ACC. It's going to be Barcelona. It's going to be a 20-minute race 1 and 30-minute race 2, determined by the finishing order of race 1.
So again, those who are new to ACC league, the racing format is yet different between what you are used to from the F1 league, and also you'll see some personality in all the drivers' cars, as you have much more flexibility in how you design your liveries. So do keep an eye out for that. I definitely recommend checking out tomorrow just for that.
I think we have almost half the grid making their own liveries and asking each other for help. That's the best part about IRC. No matter what league you're in, no matter what platform you're in, you're always going to have people helping each other out. You have PCX F1 people helping the Xbox F1 people to improve, and you have the vice versa. From the Xbox peeps helping the F1 on the PC. It's a very friendly community here in IRC. As we are finally back to the race start. 5 lights, waiting for the lights to go out. It's lights out and away we go. A beautiful start from the Alpha Tauri of Rahul, as we have wheel-to-wheel action between Star Max 9 and Rahul, and that gives HB58 a beautiful start as he goes around to block everyone to get position, as we have the Ferrari of Simply Whiting going onto the AstroTurf. The Alpha gets the position. Star Max got P1, Alpha Tauri P2, and HB58 P3 Simply Whiting, Ferrari P4 Caddy in racing point P5. It's a beautiful race start, relatively cleaner than what we had seen. The Renault moving around, not letting the Williams to get through, gets the double move done, somehow keeps the rear wing there and does not spin the car. A double move caught on camera by Triple R Cool. Beautiful stuff.
But at what cost? He has lost right and play.
Has he?
Yeah, and very interesting start. We had 4 car wide a forecast wide into the first turn. Very interesting. People keeping it as close as they possibly can and pushing their cars to the limit. However, the Haas's are the ones who have lost out the most overall. And as we see Pace Fighter losing his car and winning it at the wall, I still think he has a relatively okay wing. So let's see. No, again he's missing part of an end plate. Let's see if he decides to stay out.
Oh,
Which
that's
he
huge
has.
damage for the front end. That's huge damage.
Yep.
Shouldn't he have hit it? I would have hit it.
Well, many have, in fact, Pasty, Contro, Bobby, stuff, and I think even Red Skulls, they have all fitted. And interestingly, they have gone for softs instead of hards as Rahul did. So again, yet
Contra
another.
Bobby has more cards.
I
And we
stand
have 4
corrected.
travels in the pits. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 travel gone for hearts, the rest have gone for salts. And but we have Copper 0T23 gone on mediums. So 2 salts, 1 hearts, 1 mediums.
Yep, quite a wide range of tire choice. Very interesting to see how it pans out in the race. HP 58 showing some signs of control issues as he went a bit wide. But he's getting it for Rahul.
Yes, but yeah, he seems to be confident on his brakes, HP. Whereas Rahul has been blocking past 2 corners, so HP can put the pressure on Rahul. He might get the position done, but then Catty already with time penalty added. So as long as Rahul gets the race win, whereas HP and Catty finish P5 and Contented Pink gets good points, Alpha might retain their championship lead in the constructors.
Definitely. That's where I think Contended has to step up a bit. But he is in a prime position with medium. But it's all up to how he can maintain his pace in the first leg of the race. Oh, as you see, Cathy, was it rather HP 58 loses in the first sector. Not sure if he has damage, but he has lost a few positions as a result. Unfortunate. I see his car is still intact, fortunately. So that should help things. We have a yellow sector 2. That's a McLaren of Hula. Again, one of the front runners losing a couple positions as a result. He's sliding quite a bit there just before the stadium section. And Renault, surprisingly, starting from the back, now in the points. So not a bad show.
One of the Renaults is in the point, and we have Pace Fighter who got front wing damage. On top of that, he has now changed the time penalty. 2 drivers in the span of 4 laps have time penalties, and Triple R Cool, another driver to join the group of getting time penalties. It's his first lap on the mediums, and he's already down with Strat, and now he has to deal with time penalties. It's really frustrating for these drivers as we have Rahul completely locking his focus.
Very interesting to see the medium runners already in the top 2 positions. And if I'm not wrong, I saw basically fit for a second time already in the past 3 laps. Not sure what's happening there. But again, as we said earlier, this track is very susceptible to corner cuts, and we already are stacking up a lot of time penalties, and especially on the top, so that should really make things interesting. As we had yellow sectors for the whole track for a moment. Everyone is really pushing a lot, and we see a lot of traffic in sector 2. I think it's hard. It's fine now, but yeah, very eventful. A lot to keep that done. But now with DRS, do you think Simply may have an upper hand? Perhaps not now. Maybe he has to charge up and give it another go on the final straight. Meanwhile, Starmax has built a healthy 3-second lead, so there is no DRS train up front. So he must be smoothly sailing ahead, but again he's on top. So let's see if he can control his tires while he's at it. Rahul has managed to break the DRS train constantly.
Face fighter gets another 3 seconds penalty. It's already 6 seconds penalties. It's P11 on the socks, and we have 3 cars going through the staging section with Alpha Tauri of contended Wing 29 separating as he goes full send into the pit lane. Oh my god, how did he not crash? What was that? He has to thank his lucky stars to not crash from the divider of the pit lane. What tires will Jeff put him on? Is it on the soft? Oh, it's in soft. I was expecting Jeff to put him on hard tires.
I'm surprised they showed big damage because there was a whole deja vu moment right there.
Takumi Fujiwara didn't bless the game of F1. So the game essentially just reset him back on track the moment he entered the pit lane. And I think he was below the speed limit, so he didn't get a stop with anything. So he's lucky over there, but then would you really consider this lucky? You're battling the two racing points, battling each other contention constructors, but now that mess up is going to probably cause your team, with your teammate included, the instructors. I just want to feel about that.
Well, it's very unfortunate indeed, but we still have his teammate in P2, so you never know. But yes, that was incredibly lucky still. It could have been a lot worse. So, forward to go. You can only catch moments like this in this league. And I think Casey has given up.
First DNF, yes.
Oh, never mind. It's a
second driver for Renault has given up. As we have a safety car out on track, the back runners are going to get an advantage. And like I mentioned, for the hard runners, it's going to be really, really a good jump if you're a hard runner in getting a safety car in the initial laps. I think Contra Bobby was the only hard runner in the entire race. So if he manages to catch up with everyone else, he's going to probably in the top 10s. Since that was exactly what I faced in the Australian GP last season. Tier 2, as we see the dead car of Basti. He did not DNF, he crashed down. Interesting.
You'd hate to be the Alpha Tauri who just pitted right before this happened.
Oh yes, it fitted into the socks.
But in terms of the long run, it's not gonna change too much. So it is what it is.
I think if Continental Mink can make his socks last longer, it could mitigate the time lost when he's going to pit for the mediums. Because there's no way he's going to finish on these tires. He'll have to pit for the mediums again.
Yep, but again, you'd be gunning for another scenario like this one. Keep this stuff.
Highly unlikely, I would say. But then we've already seen all spins, so I think I might be wrong here, since we've already had 2 spins, one with pit lane and one car DNFing, which was Basti 2000, the second penalty. So I think we might have a safety penalty here. As we have 3 second time penalty for incognito jersey in the safety car. Might have cut a corner and corner cutting at the safety car. It's very, very strict. As we have one driver we have Simply Whitey 3 seconds, Catty with 3 seconds, Frankenstein 44 with 5 seconds, Incognito with 3 seconds, Triple R 3 seconds again, followed by Cease Checker with 3 seconds and Phase Fighter with 6 seconds. So I think Frankenstein, the next pit stop is going to be a 5 second stop, then it's going to be a pit stop. So I think he'll have an on-track battle for positions, Frankenstein, and he might get a jump in the final standings, probably.
Yeah, it is possible, but within the first 8 laps, if you ignore the pit stops, there has been a lot of gap forming between the drivers. So it's interesting to see Space fighter. Did I notice any wing damage there? I'm not sure. Why is he still out in that case? Okay, I stand corrected. I think it's fine. Yeah. He had recently put it into cards. I think he's getting he's dealing with the bonus of the cards. Alright, so we still probably require another lap of safety car because we still need everyone to bunch up. And a Ferrari, I think it's Space Fighter who needs to catch up a lot to the rest of the grid. Oh, that was a close one for P58. That will be in a 5-second right there and potentially sending damage. I still believe that in terms of safety car, this track is still okay thanks to the long straights, but I think in sector 3 it becomes very chaotic. Speaking of which track do you hate to be in a safety car situation?
Has to be more. Has to be more. Safety cars on all of the tracks, since I can probably get away with a good restart at a good strat, but somehow a safety car on 1-2 is just... that's a track where you need to have good momentum around each corner. If there's out of 10 laps you mess up one lap, it's going to be difficult to get that momentum back of getting each apex, each corner spot on, because Monaco is not a track you can afford to make mistakes. But tracks like these, like USA, you got Mexico, you got Australia, Bahrain, where if you get a safety car, it won't ruin the mojo, it won't ruin the momentum you got of hitting every corner the way you should. Since you can't afford to make mistakes here and there, but then I would say having a safety car in Monaco would be a nightmare for me. I would just, if that happens in a nightmare, I'm just going to wake up panting, probably drink some water to forget what I just saw. As we have, like I said, hard runners might get benefit from this since we have HV58 hards already, and I think Control Bobby was on the hards, probably, if we can get the tires what the drivers are on currently.
We still see, I think, a mix. I do see a lot of white stripe tires, but not all of them are. Again, it ties down to the wide range of tire strategies we have. As you saw, our front-end bit is still running on soft. So I think we'll have safety car in this lap as everyone has bumped up. And we have a collision between Raghav and Redstone. I hope there's no damage. It doesn't appear so. But that 5-second will definitely hurt. This time, I think almost everyone but 6 drivers have time penalties at the moment. So in that case, it's not that bad because everyone has 17 drivers.
If you're going to be one of those drivers who don't have penalty, it's going to cause extra pressure on you to not get any more penalties.
And you'll end up getting if you're interested.
Yes. Yes. As you have safety car in this lap, cars are oh, what? That's interesting strategy.
That's George Russell mode almost.
Star Max
very
mode.
ambitious.
Yes. So we have 3 drivers on hards. That people want to keep an eye out for HB58 or B4 with the hards. Can you pull out something, because that's going to be a risky tire strat. You're going to be running out of. You're going to be running low on time. You're going to be losing time. Sorry, in the ending stages of the race, since you'll be having a lot of tire wear. As the safety car goes in this lap, we're going to be waiting for the green lights. We are racing again with Star Max Lord 6 tenths behind. He somehow doesn't get the jump on Rahul. All the cars are very far apart. We have Contra Bobby already with a 3-second time penalty, and we still have Star Max bleeding around. There might be tires cooled, not heated up properly.
Well, he stays second somehow, so perhaps he can essentially do that.
As you mentioned, Star Max As you mentioned, Star Max not being in second, he closed the gap by 4 tenths within the span of 3 corners as he's already sniffing the gearbox. Rahul, 941, probably don't want to get the whole thing done. The racing point of Gary wants to get ahead of Content Mink. Content Mink somehow brings it back to P5, but then the spot strategy and him spinning a little bit late might result in him dropping down the order probably as Rahul spins. That's not something you want to be doing if you're battling for the championship of the constructors, as he probably hits the house or maybe he was posted. Luckily, no damage for Rahul, but he heated up tires and no ERS consumption too in Red Bull, sending it full on the inside, probably claims the Red Bull damage and they do not somehow make it through. That is awful for Rahul. Sport the AlphaTauri is in a very compromised state, Content Mink a soft runner on P4, Rahul a medium runner on 11. If you are Content Mink, you see your teammate spin, what are you?
I had a technical difficulty from that.
What an unfortunate time to get technical difficulties because we got Rahul spinning from P1 to P11. Now he goes back to P16. Not a good day for Rahul.
Yeah, I was going to point out that he did not pit, even though Jeff would have recommended him to pit right after the safety car went in. So I'm not sure if that had any role to play. But yeah, unfortunate for him. Second time unlucky. So I guess I jinxed him by saying that he may have run out of all of his good luck by getting a restart.
That's really bad. That's really unfortunate. We might have given him commentator's curse. As we have DRS, Content Mink gets the move done on HB58. Easy stuff. But we have another DRS straight coming out. If it's easy to stay within 1 second within these few corners, but can Content Mink defend P3 with all his might? Yes, he is out of DRS. He's HB58 is going to see the blinking red light. He knows the next DRS straight is the only opportunity to get the move done. But we also have the Ferrari of Simply YT giving Content Mink a go, as we also see Star Max leading the race. In the top 3, Simply YT is the only driver to have a penalty, but then Content Mink needs to pit anyways. So if I was HB58, I wouldn't want to straight my tires and try to get the movie done. As we see him dropping back the order, but then Content Mink already on 6th lap with softs might pit in the next 4 to 6 laps.
In that case, I think it's a prime position for Q58 because he's getting DRS despite having the hardest tires in the lot. Plus, Starmax has gotten time penalty as well, so he just needs to cruise through the next few laps, still contented or decide to overtake simply. This was inevitable. He had to do it as soon as possible because his tires will show its age very soon.
Content Mink having no chill after what appeared to be a Takumi Fujiwara moment with Lane. Somehow, not DNFing, can he salvage some good points out of this and probably maintain the lead as we have purple sector from Content Mink and on board with the Ferrari of Simply YT having HB58 on his gearbox, as we have triple R pole, another 3-second time penalty. A lot of drivers having 2-second time penalties. Do you see someone getting disqualified in that improvement penalties?
Had happened last weekend, so it is possible. But fun fact about the track: if you get the DRS activation on the final sector, you get to have DRS for both straights. Even there is no DRS detection zone after the first straight. So this allowed Contender to really gain over a second already, and we see a fighter DNF. He had
and we have a virtual safety car. Not a lot of difference, but that might be the opportunity that Content and Mink needed to probably pit. What do you think? Will he lose positions if he pits? Never mind, he's already passed the
Yep,
pit lane.
unfortunate for him. Definitely, if he was just a few seconds late, he could have made use of this, as everyone who has to go slower through the main straight will definitely help in terms of saving time in pitting. But yeah,
But
unfortunate.
we have two rivals, Rahul 941 and C Shekhar, pitting and both pitting from mediums to the hards. So if I mean Rahul must not be in a very good mindset leaving the race and then just watching it twice, once from B1 to B11 and from B11 to become last, and now somehow must be 14. As we have Tula 08 getting another cruising penalty. Only 4 drivers to not have penalty. Contended Pink with the driver with the deja vu, HB58, the driver, the front runner with the hearts. Now we have Kucker 0J23, the mediums, 12.5 mediums, and they are Bravo 941. Surprisingly, not getting a single penalty even after spinning twice.
Yeah, I'm still interested to see what Contended has in mind for his tires, because if Rahul can spin on an 11 lap old mediums, these softs may not have much life left in them at this point. And he's still gunning it a lot, trying to catch up to Star Max. I think he should be able to make it through the DRS race, but at what cost? Because in terms of strategy, he still has a lot of catching up to do. At the moment, he's not even in the top 10 if he pits now. So it's a very interesting predicament for him. He can be as far back as P11, and simply is breathing down his neck, and he'll be getting the next two straights with DRS, and I think he has some way more ERS, so he may still stick and overtake potentially in the next straight.
Contended Pink looking for the move, but then as you mentioned, the second DRS straight not having detection zone, so Contended Pink gets the DRS again on Star Max Club, but not having the DRS. Simply Whitey will look at the blinking red light of Contended Pink indicating no DRS. He will probably want to start saving DRS. As we see the rear ends drag around from Star Max Club, sorry, I just mentioned his name, I'm sorry, please don't uninstall him. As Contended Pink goes wide, and he feels the pressure coming from Simply Whitey, and Star Max Club touching the cross, goes wide on the second apex. This is exactly what Contended Mink wants. As he gets closer and closer, Cam somehow keeps it on the track. Can he get the move done before getting into the stadium section? He cannot, but he closes the gap certainly and increases the gap to Simply Whitey. Getting close under braking, hits the apex. He's doing this section way better than Star Max God. As quickly as possible, Contended Mink wants to get that move done. He knows he has the pace, he has saved the ERS, and now he is going to give another turn, but he needs to save ERS to defend the position from Star Max God as he sends it down the inside. Easy move. Well done.
Well, he clearly extracted way more grip than I anticipated from this, and now this means Simply will also get to overtake Star Max potentially. Very aggressive defending, but even 58, interesting move, somehow sticks it. Nice on Simply for keeping it clean. Unexpected, but SP58 catching on the opportunity, somehow making it work. Yeah, it's getting, despite the vast difference in tire strategy, getting much closer between the front runners than I expected. Very, very good racing by these guys so far.
What I like about Rahul is that he didn't give up. He's still going on into the race. I think if the meme lords are watching this stream, they might relate to what we're ahead. A Japanese man, a Japanese fisherman yelling "Kapatte kore," which means don't give up, Japanese technique. As we have the DRS, we have a lot of weaving from Tula. That's illegal, I believe. That has to be a penalty incoming if Gary reports him. It has to be a Gary. That's a lot of. I believe you can move only twice in the braking. Once before, only once on the braking. Yes, I'm sorry. That was a lot of weaving. Always trying to break the slipstream. That's not something you want to be doing. I got PLS for the same thing, but I only moved twice. As we have a switcheroo movement from Starmax Dot, but then Starmax Dot somehow clips the rear. Sorry, simply white in the Ferrari, clipping the rear. Somehow not spinning out. And then we have seen these guys battle throughout in the second sector. These guys are not giving each other an inch.
At 358, at this point, being impatient, he just wants to get ahead. He knows he's faster and he's getting what he wants. Very assertive driving, to say the least. Yep, finally contended after getting track position. Decides to give it up right away and pit. I'm guessing he's pitting for mediums. If he can do 11 laps on softs, definitely can do mediums for 16, and he has. I think, yeah, like you were saying about continue to race. Yeah, it's commendable from Rahul, but definitely would like to see him pick up some more positions, at least getting the points. It should be possible now as everyone is pitting. But let's see if he was in the window. Doesn't seem like it because he has 25 seconds gap between the next driver.
In my opinion, the drivers to look out for now are HB58 and contended Pink. Since I don't think HB58 is going to be betting in him soon if he can make those parts last. And he's going to be crying for the final few laps, probably from lap 32 onwards is what HB58 needs to be careful with his car, since he's going to be like driving on ice with slip tires, and contended Pink needs to make those mediums last for 16 laps already now. And I think people are starting to pit on mediums when they hit lap 12, maybe lap 15. So if I think 15 laps, 16 laps is the window for mediums, I believe, in this run.
Right about, yes. But again, keeping in mind there was a safety car, he still made a soft run for that much. So it is possible he can do it potentially. HB58 has already broken the DRS stream despite having the harder tire compound. So he's truly showing his pace, and I think he can afford a relatively cheap pit stop to say softs towards the end of the race if he continues his pace. Even Star Max and Simply, they both are right about there within the DRS range, but they can create a train for each other. But Kathy trying to defend from Tula, who's really trying to sniff out high position on track. They both have about the same tire age, so it's just about matching your ERS, which is pretty much depleted for Kathy versus the DRS, and I think relatively more ERS with Tula, so it's just a matter of a few turns.
Oh, Kathy pushing Tula wide. I was going to commend them for having good racing, but then Red Bull almost getting spun out by Tula as well. Incognito Jersey is not going to be happy with that, and so will Tula. That was not something I was expecting from Kathy. He should have let some space.
It should allow Contended to make up a couple positions though, because of a poor exit by the Red Bull.
And Contended does get a position done by Red Bull.
Still, aggressive braking. Yep,
gets a warning.
Time penalty.
Oh, sorry, he gets a time penalty. Still
and the
going
compromise exit, and
and
almost
he's
a spin.
almost spin.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah, very aggressive fight, but ends up yielding,
Uno
whether it was
momento.
his
Is
choice.
this a possible P2 finish for contended Mink?
It is possible. I mean, on track he was P1, but was able to extract life out of his stops. Let's see if we can do the same now.
Oh, beautiful racing. They're not giving each other an inch of the track. They're going wheel bang against each other. Contended Mink lets the racing point go. All three drivers have ERS on each other. Not doesn't make sense to use his ERS. Saves of his ERS is 35%. If I was him, I'm also going to be saving ERS for the next ERS straight, and I'm going to wait for Tola to either get overtaken by Gary or maybe let Tola pull a Gary, because that's just essentially a waste of ERS at that point.
In the meanwhile, StarMax has taken the lead again, despite having lost on the DRS.
But he's going to get overtaken again anyway, since he needs to pit.
So
there we go.
it's not over yet. They just said it too soon. They are having a good old race, and HP58 still making it work on the hards, which I had mentioned some drivers complain on using. So yep, indeed, like you said earlier in the start of the race, depends on the driver. They can really make anything work. But the drivers out in the top 3 positions, if they maintain the pace, they can potentially get a free pit stop. So being HB58, you'll have to consider whether it was worth getting the hard after all, as he has lost 100 position and he is surprisingly pitting. Is it a drive-through? No, he is pitting for tire change.
Nice.
Interesting.
I mean, now it's going to be an on-track battle. I think he was worried about losing traction, possibly, but now it's going to be an on-track battle because the other drivers, StarMax and Simply YT, also need to pit. So now it's all about maximizing his outlap, and he will, because he has the DRS from fellow drivers. As we see, Frankenstein rejoining the session as well, as almost hitting the McLaren of Tula 08. Lucky to not lose the front wing, but now he has to stay within the DRS, maximize his outlap, and possibly get the undercut over StarMax God and Simply YT, who are getting to pit tires.
It's still an overcut despite you having better tires. Really puzzling to me, but he got 3 seconds time penalty too, which should hamper his chances a bit. Yeah, I'm still not sure if he needed to pitch this early, but let's see. Maybe he'll make it work, and I'll have to disagree, as he is already making moves on Tula, and he makes the move today. He's already on a charge. Let's see how aggressive. Oh, never mind. Some teamwork. Team orders have made Kathy just yield altogether. Good teamwork.
Tula goes in the pits. We have HB85, HB58 gaming leading to racing points. Both Simply YT and StarMax God are leading the race P1 and P2 respectively. Contended Mink has fallen down the order. I'm not sure what happened over there. The gap to the leader is too huge, possibly warrant him getting a comeback. I think he switched tires. You can go to the tires each driver is on. I think he switched tires. He's no longer on the hards anymore.
But was there a spin?
There we go. He's not on the hards anymore. Yeah, alright.
He's on top. For 11 laps again.
But he's chasing the hard runner. He's chasing the hard runner. That's Rahul 941. So either Rahul gets the 1 point, Contended Mink gets the 1 point, but then Rahul is also battling Red Skull, since the interval is to the leaders.
I think he crashed out and he has to pit for racing, because I don't understand why he would go on softs now.
Interesting.
Maybe we missed that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you can't blame us for missing some things because leaders are showing some really good actions. As both are battling to get into the pit lane first, that is the first thing. That's the first. That's the first.
Very exciting racing. Caddy making it work somehow.
10-second time penalty for corner cutting for PKR Raghav.
Must be in the sector in the chicane. in the
10
corner.
seconds.
Yep, we can just cut through them, but then you'll be slapped with that penalty. Yep. This is like Monza T1 kind of an ordeal.
Contending Pink and Rahul, the two Alpha Trolley drivers, unite back on this track. I don't think Contending Pink is going to get any battle or defense from Rahul, but if essentially in the ideal situation, since Contending Pink is on the faster tire compound, he will want to close the gap to Rahul ASAP and possibly give Rahul the tow.
And let's not forget Rahul was at the back of the grid after lap 11 or 12, I think. So he has made a comeback.
That's a beautiful comeback, right, Rahul? In my opinion, Rahul has to be the driver today.
Yeah, so I think it's about time people start typing in their favorite driver of the day. And he's really primed for that. Meanwhile, Red Skull is trying to defend from Rahul with much younger tires and being the only driver on the grid without time penalty as he makes a move on the Williams. And with the next
Frankenstein doesn't seem. Oh no! That is not what you want to be doing, Sugar. That is something you do want to be doing to defend as he twists his gearbox. Probably a good bike is. To the Red Bull, he will never overtake again.
I hope Red Skull didn't get damaged from that.
Are we going triple wide over here?
Oh
as Rahul locks up his tires, no point to get another Spinala after having a beautiful comeback of drive. As he tries to send on the inside, cannot lick the stamp and center. Probably won't carry as much momentum as he can. Cannot since he missed the entire first apex. Eating the car. Oh, getting a beautiful drive over Red Skull. Red Skull has compromised his entire DRS straight as he's going to get double overtaken by both the AlphaTauri drivers. It does not as it does full send as one AlphaTauri driver gets through. Contending Pink essentially on quicker tire wants to get the move done as soon as possible so that when the race is on its ending stages and he's out of grip, never mind.
Let's go. And he's gotten 2 penalties since I mentioned he was the only one without any. So if Castle's Curse is anything, it's right here.
I mean, essentially it's a 5-second penalty for solving the pits, so I think in the end
he had a 3 time penalty before that in second.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So not very safe here. Very interesting. I'm not sure why he ran out of grip in 6 laps on mediums, but yeah, something has to change, and I guess he will try to get back into the points again. But this again means yet another position for Rahul, and even though he has 5 laps older tires than Triple was struggling quite a bit, as you see on the screen for Rahul. I eat my words up. Well, it's the other way around. Never mind, both AlphaTauri drivers are going wide, left and right. So in that sense, let's see if he can stick an overtake in next few straights. Still in the top 3. Oh, interesting movement by the driver.
If we're going to be finishing the way we are finishing as of now, I believe it's going to be a constructor overtake from the racing unless Contending Pink and Rahul find that additional 6 points, probably another overtake or 2 from Contending Pink. possible overtake on Frankenstein and Rahul getting Arhu's position might be what AlphaTauri need to maintain the lead. I'll mention again that the lead that Alpha have over Racing Point is 9 points in the constructors. So I think the Racing Point drivers need to outscore Alpha by 9 points. So if that's the case right now, I think Alpha are still in the lead. Only barely, as Catty goes full send. He gets a double overtake done. That's beautiful, and I'm glad that was caught on camera. As Tula loses another position, but he tries to save it. He's still there. Beautiful racing by Rahul and Tula. Four are still going to wheel. That's really, really brave stuff from Catty. Beautiful. He has 18 seconds of penalties, but then that has to be the overtake of the race. Full send down the inside in the stadium section.
Trying to get it on the track, but it's still not sure how sustainable it is. But let's see, clearly has the pace advantage at the moment, but really need to... Oh! A crash for Rahul, he lost control it seems.
That's not front wing. Yep, this is championship constructor overtake by Racing Point. Rahul has got to be frustrated with this one. He had to pace all qualifying log. He fell down the order. My man picked himself up, climbed back the order, got near his teammate again. Both the AlphaTauri drivers butchering their race, but then both climbing back up. And essentially, in the end, it turned out to be a battle of attrition. Both the drivers lasting long enough. Unfortunately, Rahul could not last long enough and printed in pink. He's going to be the only AlphaTauri driver to score good points. So I think the next driver to get the drive today, after a brilliant drive, has to be pink. After going over the hard tires and then switching on a very weird strategy, and still climbing the order from P11 all the way to P5 in a matter of few laps. Beautiful stuff.
Yes, commendable job, but I still think there is some hope for Rahul, at least for a single point. As you see on the back of the grid, there was a fair bit of gap, and 18 and 16 seconds each for the last two drivers. So it is still a possibility, especially with Tucker having 15 seconds penalty and Cathy with 18. But he really needs to send it now, and hopefully he has a clear track for it. Cathy, in the meanwhile, still being rowdy, trying to make up as many positions to have a favorable finish after the time penalties. That is one way of achieving it, but as long as you keep it clean. As we say...
Yeah, talking about keeping clean, that is something that makes this not improve.
I think 2 more penalties and they are off. So really need to be walking on ice.
I mean, as of now, Carey is not finishing anywhere in top 10s. I think if the gap remains this good in the intervals, because he has 21 seconds time penalty. No, I think he's going to finish in P9. Carey.
Yes, still possible.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, I mean, it's the P2 for HP58, which will really seal the deal in terms of the overall W.
No, I think it's going to be P1, because if you look at the penalties, HB has 6 seconds, Star Maxwell has 9 seconds, so Star Maxwell will pull a 3 second gap in the next 4 laps, and he'll have to, it's race win for HP58, but then keep in mind, Simply Whitey has 3 seconds, so it's highly likely that Simply Whitey will win the race rather than HB58. So the front running order is something to look out for, and also contended Pink's finishing order is something to look out for. A lot of things to look out for in this race. Xbox living up to the hype yet again. Some close racing in from midfield all the way to the front runners, and some drivers Rahul not giving up to the very end, as we see him still racing in the silver. I would have called him in the race ages ago, but then it's really, really appreciated. You should appreciate how competitive Rahul Nitro and his GGWP distancing, so battling it out on track. As we have Carry full send on Williams. Another brilliant move done. I think he doesn't care anymore. He's just going down with Ricardo full send. They've gone on
Back
late
of
breaking.
DRS still makes it work.
And
He
he doesn't
uses up all the
Yes.
DRS. I think he's a sitting duck at this point. Not sure if he can stay P7 even at this point.
As we have incognito Jersey having a beautiful view of everything that's happening in front of him. Now, incognito Jersey has. Oh, he's still not in front of them after a bad entry into the fast section of the track. Before we enter into the stadium section, Wilson, Williams
Very-
is now.
Very borderline arcade racing style here. Not really proud of that as he almost pushes out the Red Bull. But yeah, at this point with the DRS, if you have a good exit, you should make that overtake so easily now. Contended, the front runner in the second batch of drivers. He's still under pressure, and fortunately for him, there is only a 1 second time penalty deficit that he has to cover, and he's managing to do that just fine at the moment. I'm not sure how you get 8 seconds time penalty. Is it due to
It's
a safety car incident?
I believe it's going to be a 5-second pit lane incident and it's going to be a counter. So it's going to cost up to 8
But for
seconds.
pit lanes, you do need to serve it in the pits, right?
It's not necessary. If you pit the next time he pits, it's going to be a 5-second stop and pits. If he doesn't, it's going to be added up to his time in the end.
But it is after you have to serve it within 3
Oh yeah,
laps,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, if you look at it in that way.
Yeah.
Oh, mamma mia! No.
Incognito. You really hope this was not on the internet, this clip, but unfortunately you are the star of the show right now. All for all the wrong reasons. Doing a catchy impression, unable to make the track position. Not that he has to worry, because everyone around him has massive time penalties, but still, to end the story in the track.
No, but
So who's
actually
better?
thinking about it, with the 8 seconds penalty, I think he got the 5 seconds on the safety car.
Oh my
and
God.
Spinalla goes carry, and it was coming. We didn't want to believe it, we didn't want to accept it, but then this was coming.
No need for Incognito to be that risky there. Now he has thrown away the time penalty deficit if he has to pit, but it's the last lap of the race. He just has to nurse his car, but again,
It's not even about pitting anymore. It's about, he's just blatant report from Carey, since that was an irresponsible thing for Carey from Incognito. It's not even once, it's twice. So probably the stewards from IRC are going to look into the situation. It's a probable penalty points on his IRC license, possible quali ban, possible race ban, since I don't know what's his situation in his previous incidents. But it's definitely going to be a penalty point since it's 2 incidents. Once almost spinning Carey up, and the second time literally murdering the track.
yeah, I'm not really sure why that was necessary, but yeah, as much as we love carnage here in the competition, this is not the way to achieve that. And
It was entertaining.
indeed, as we go through the final few corners and you get to see the light works in this beautiful stadium
Can
section.
simply maintain that 8th, 10th gap to get the race win. HP58 gets the race win right now, but Simply Whitey snatching it away. Simply Whitey from the Ferrari team getting P1, HP58. The racing point from P2, Star Max Scott who maximizes race start and both initial race and the race restart gets P3 for the Alfa Romeo as contended Mink. A beautiful charger from falling down, playing from the heart to the socks, and then making it stick all the way around. Gets P4 the sole Alpha Tauri driver finishes. Frankenstein 4-4, and the Alfa Romeo finishes P5 with 11 seconds of penalty, and there we go, 5 seconds uncertainty is going to be added to his ending time chart as we have triple R Cool, the Williams driver, finishing P6, and incognito Jersey. I don't think it's going to be his finishing order, P7 after the penalties. And we have triple R Cool with puncher front left. Retzko getting P9 from Carey. Carey's going to fall down the order even more, I think. He goes much more down the order. Kula from McLaren, then P10. That rounds up the top 10. While Carey is P11. And I believe I saw triple R Cool getting a puncher on his tire in the ending, so pulled off Hamilton. As we have throughout the day contended Mink, well deserved. I believe this is one of the few times the game actually guessed the drive of the day right. Definitely deserved.
Indeed.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, a lot of rough racing towards the end, but indeed a very eventful and interesting race to say the least. Can we get the final positions up just once more? All right, so you have the champagne going on. You would be very happy to maintain, to I think potentially get the lead as the constructors championship for Racing Point.
That was a cool-headed play from Simply YT because he knew from Ferrari's point of view that he's going to get the race win. But then, fair play for Racing Point, who won the race. Compete through from HB58, and unfortunately Carey out of the points. But then, I think the points deficit is huge enough to. I think it's still close enough. Let me have a look. I think it's still close enough between the Alpha and the. Well,
While we
while we
wait,
try to figure out, we're gonna wait for the podium finishers to come to the commentary voice
Yep.
chat.
Yep. So I see we have everyone. So let's start with first and foremost Simply YT, our race winner today. Also known as Iceman, you shown cool nerves while you were fighting for maintaining your flag position. How did you find this race and what helped you gain the first position, in your opinion?
Definitely one cool nerves. Like if you were in the party with me, me and Star Max were in the party, and Star Max was cheering me on. Really appreciate that from him. I feel really bad for him as well because he could have gotten it, but penalties ruined him. And yeah, there were definitely no cool nerves. I was sweating the last 3 laps, but yeah, I did my best. And my race, I started P5. I didn't think I would get away through turn one because I usually I prefer starting on the inside in Mexico. But the start went decent, and then me and Starmax were on the same strat. So the medium soft, but then the safety car happened, so we got another stint on the medium, and we could pull away with that. And we were quite far ahead from everyone, but then again everyone got bunched up because of safety cars, so um that was sort of like an advantage for us because we got another stint on medium and we could pull away. And I tried keeping it as clean as possible because I was on my last warning as well, so I was trying not to get another penalty. But yeah, it really feels nice to win again.
Well, congratulations for keeping it relatively cool, let's just say, even though you were on the edge of getting another penalty. Very well done. Congrats once again.
Thanks, man.
Now let's focus on SP58. You did show a lot of promise during quali, and you still got good results despite the mashup we had in the middle. So, what are your thoughts and opinions on today's race?
Firstly, I'd like to congratulate Iceman for winning the race. He kept it clean, kept his penalty record very clean, so he deserves to win today. And otherwise, I think whatever happened in the race happened very early on, so you don't really focus too much on it after it has happened. Thankfully, I didn't have any damage or anything else, so I could start pushing again and then catch up with the guys in front. And during the safety car, obviously, I thought I would go on to the hard and finish the race. But by the time it was like lap 17, 18, I realized the tires probably wouldn't go to the end. So I switched up my strategy and thought, okay, I have a new set of mediums. I could probably use that. And then hopefully the guys who are on the soft tires, probably the tires will die at the end, so I'll have an advantage. Otherwise, I think it's been a good race for the Drivers' Championship and the constructors. Constructors more so. We have a lot closer there. But otherwise, yeah, solid race, and we move for next week.
Yeah.
That
Congrats.
you mentioned the constructors, your teammate. If you would have finished the race, you guys would have been the leaders of the constructors. But as of now, it's really close between the Racing Point and the AlphaTauri. With you getting the podium now, the points difference has gone from 9 points to 3 points. So
Yeah, I
all in
mean, at the
go
start of the
on.
race, he forgot to load his setup on, so always he complained about understeer. So I mean, it
Oh,
is what it
lucky.
is. But we it's one race, and then Sunny comes back next week. So we'll look to move on from this result and get better results next week, hopefully.
Definitely. Congrats once again. Star Max, I think you were one of the ones who had a disadvantage going into the race restart because you had a great start in the first run. You still managed to bring it home with a podium. So, what are your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, but I think it all ends up like I guess I got unlucky by the safety car, but I could have like tried harder to not get more penalties, or on my last stint I thought I could go on softs and bring it home, but I really struggled with the softs at the end. Should have gone on the mediums, but in the heat of the moment you really don't have a lot to think about it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I felt that I had a very decent pace, but I think bad strategy ruined it for me.
well, you still have a podium to celebrate. Still, congrats on making it work. Overall, very commendable that despite everyone had quite a wide range of tire strategies, they still managed to bring out results in their own way. Any closing thoughts, Nirma?
I got none, but then that was a beautiful race from the Xbox Bulls. Really close constructor battle between the Alpha and the AlphaTauri and the Racing Point.
Yes, certainly. As I got to committed for this race, it did not disappoint. I really look forward to see how the constructor battle and even the drivers' championship, for that matter, uh, draw up as we are edging towards the end of the season. But yet again, I hope you all enjoyed today's race. And this is Thermophobe and Nirma signing out. See you next week. And